Greetings. My name is Sonia McSwain. I'm the Director of Early Learning, and I'd like to welcome you to our Parent Academy training Up, Up, and Away, transitioning to kindergarten. Our quick objectives, we're going to discuss your child's kindergarten readiness skills. We'll briefly talk about things that we can do to support your child's transition from VPK to kindergarten. And finally, we will identify how to find a school and register your child for kindergarten. Take a moment to remember what it was like. Do you remember your first day of school? Were you afraid, nervous, excited? Did you know what to expect? And is there something you would have liked to have known beforehand? These are some things that we want to think about and ponder so we can make the transition to kindergarten as smooth and as seamless as possible for your babies as they begin school next week. If your child had any learning experience in VPK in the state of Florida, their VPK experience was centered around 8 developmental standards that address many early literacy, math, science, social studies, creative arts, character education skills that have catapulted them and gotten them ready for this important transition to kindergarten. So if your child participated in VPK here in Florida, we know one thing, that they have a really firm foundation in which to build their academic career, and that'll really get them ready for kindergarten this fall. Some of the things that your babies learned in VPK, they learned how to use books, how to read left to right, top to bottom. They learned some beginning reading skills. They've learned letter names and sounds. They learned some phonemic awareness skills where they learned how to rhyme, how to blend and sound out words. They learned some beginning writing skills. They built some really strong math skills through counting and creating patterns, measuring. They learned some basic addition and subtraction skills. They learned how to compare, explore, become curious. They learned about their schools, their families, community, and they also got opportunities, many opportunities, to express their ideas and their thoughts through the arts, through art, music, dance, and dramatic play. Exciting time in pre-K. So here is a list of some things that you can do as a family to get ready for this kindergarten experience. One, we want you to share what it was like when you went to school for the first time. If your children know that you were able to do it successfully, then they have the tools as well to do that as well. Finding some books and reading about kindergarten transition is extremely helpful for students. So it gives them an opportunity to hear about kindergarten through different perspectives and through characters that they are familiar with or can make connections to. So reading those books are important. We want to give your child opportunities to practice some skills. We'd like you to drive by, do some drive-bys by the school, look at a school map, point out some things at the school. And most importantly, if you get an opportunity, participate in that meet and greet before the school year opens, so your child is familiar with the school, the person that they're going to be working with in their classroom in the fall, and that helps ease some of that transition anxiety as well. Some additional practice makes perfect to-do list items. We want to start getting our kids learning how to manage their clothes independently. I have a good friend who recently purchased some plastic drawers and had the days of the week indicated on those drawers, and she allows her baby each week, on Sunday rather, to pick out the items of clothing and shoes for the week and put one set of clothing in each of those bins. So in the morning when she gets up to get dressed, her daughter knows which bin to go to and pull out and get dressed on her own. So teaching them how to manage that independently is really helpful. Teaching them how to manage their book bags, to give you notes from home, managing lunch boxes if you're sending lunch boxes to school. Having your children to practice those fine motor skills at home, having them practice writing their first and last name, and using blunt scissors, crayons, markers, pencils, rulers, puzzles, Legos, counters. All of those things are some fantastic skills to practice to ensure that students are ready for kinder. Some other things that you can do, have your babies do some activities in short periods of time, some reading, no more than 10, 15 minutes a day, some writing, drawing, and some playing. Making sure that children are able to follow directions and household rules. If they're able to do that at home with you, it makes that transition to following directions from the teacher, cleaning up their centers and their desk space, a seamless transition for them. Following some home daily routines help them transition into being able to follow school routines, and having your children practicing cleaning up after themselves and putting things away in the right place. If they're able to do those things at home, again, those things translate to the school community as well, and they're able to do those things successfully at school as well. Some basic things your kindergartner needs to know: their parents' first and last names, as well as their own, a home address, parents' contact information, if they have any siblings that will be attending school with them, knowing what grade their brother and or sister are in and their teachers, and the name of their school. We want to also begin encouraging you to establish rituals and routines. Routines can be incorporated seamlessly into your daily life. You want to give about 15 to 20 minutes of time with your child to prepare them for this transition to kindergarten. And the routines protect and help children feel safer because they know what to expect. So, what's going to be your morning expectation for your child each morning? Are they able to get up on their own, get dressed, brush their teeth, shower, whatever those expectations are? What is that going to be like? And we want you to start practicing those things now. What about bedtime? What time will they go to bed? 8 o'clock, 8:30? Does your child have a schedule, a quiet time to get ready for bed? So after they bathe and have their dinner or evening snack, do we read a book quietly in the room as a family to wind down to get ready for bed? Do you have a routine to get your child to and from school efficiently? We want to start practicing those routines now so they are habit within the first week or two of school. So you want to create morning routines if possible. Visual charts are really great for youngsters so they know what to expect. We want to try to start the day with a positive mindset so that positive mindset will transitions from home to school. We want to have a routine that reduces morning meltdowns, and having enough sleep definitely helps reduce morning meltdowns. We want you to be ready before your child wakes up to help them with these routines. Make a routine chart, keep it simple, include everything that needs to be done before you guys head out the door, and practice waking up early on the weekends as well so it continues to be habit during the school week. You want to create a bedtime routine as well. Research tells us that kindergarten age students need about 10 and a half to 11 and a half hours of sleep. So we want to ensure that they're getting to bed on time and keep that consistent so they're getting enough rest. We want to build a predictable routine to wind down your child's activities. Television, tablets, games are not the best things to do around bedtime. So we want to stop those at least an hour, hour and a half before bedtime because those items tend to stimulate students' brains. We want to remember that it'll take more than one night to establish a bed routine for your child to adjust to the change. And you need at least 30 minutes before bed to practice the 4 Bs. You want to bathe, brush, read a book, and off to bed. You want to create a drop-off routine. You want to talk to your babies ahead of time about what drop-off will look like when you're heading to school every day. And maybe do a practice run a day or two before school starts. And again, reading books about starting school and what to expect helps to ease anxiety that your children may be having. A couple things to note: there are a few baseline tests that your kindergartner will take during the first 30 days of school. One is the VPK FAST, which is a state assessment. Our Waterford reading and our literacy mini assessments are district mandated assessments, and they all have the same purpose of finding out what our babies know so we're able to pinpoint those skills in which they need additional support and instruction and help get them to grade level achievement and excellence at year's end. So those assessments take place during the first 30 days of school, and that's why those rituals and routines are important, because we want students well rested and ready for those assessments and instruction that they'll receive in class on those first few days. That FAST assessment, again, is administered 3 times per year. The first one happens within the first 30 days of school. You will receive a report from your child's teacher no later than 7 days after the assessment is administered to your child. That report will tell you the score that the child received, and it'll also tell you skills in which your child did very well and some skills that they may need some additional assistance with. Also, the Waterford Reading Assessment, again, assesses basic reading skills, and that early literacy CPM, which is a mini assessment, just gives us an idea how well your students know basic things like letter name sounds, some phonological awareness activities, so teachers are aware where to get students started to ensure that they're reading during the kindergarten year. There are some parent-school communication tools that will be used this school year. We want to encourage parents to make sure that you have a parent focus account, and begin downloading the apps Thrill, Share, and Pick My Kid. And your schools will give you further direction on when the apps are available for use and how to use them. But as a parent, your first line to get ready for the rollout of both of these apps is to make sure you have a parent focus account and to download these apps and be ready to rock and roll when your school gives you the information about their particular rollout. If you have not done so, to register your baby for kindergarten, you want to first find your home school, and you're able to use the school locator to do that. Some parents may have applied for a special transfer option or magnet, and those assignments are given by the school choice office, and those should be reflected in your focus accounts already. But if you are not that parent and you're just trying to locate your home school, you will use this web address that's on the page, duvalschools.org/locator. You type in your address, your full address, and it will tell you your home school. If your child is registering in DCPS as a first-time student, they've had no interactions with the district in any fashion or form, you want to create a student number and your parent account. To do that, you'll go to duvalschools.org/focus to create a student ID number if needed, and to create that parent account. That parent account is going to be very important because district communications, being able to track your child's grades, bus information, and other pertinent information can be found in that parent account. If you will need transportation, riding the bus is a huge milestone for kindergarten students. If your baby is going to be riding the bus, you want to complete that mandatory kindergarten dismissal form and submit it to your child's school. You want to practice going to and from the bus stop to help your child identify their stop. Some things you want to make sure are written and kept in your child's book bag or in their planner is your baby's name, the school that they'll attend, the bus number and bus stop location. There is a district web page dedicated to getting kindergartners ready to ride the bus, and you'll find that at dcps.duvalschools.org/page/16764. If your baby is a student with a disability and they'll be riding the bus, you would get that placement information directly from the ESE department. And if you have questions about that transition for transportation, you're going to call 904-378-7760 and select option 1. For bus registration information and routes, that information should be readily available in Focus if you've already registered. If you registered and the information is missing for the transportation service, you want to call 904-858-6200 for assistance. The information will only be available in Focus if you've registered your child for transportation. And if you need information on how to register your baby for transportation services, the web address at the bottom, web page address at the bottom, dcps.duvalschools.org/page/31291 is the web page for directions on bus transportation. You can also visit duvalschools.org, and on the landing page, there is information regarding transportation as well. If you have a kindergarten bus rider, there are just some important things we want to share with you. Elementary schools will be issued red tags to help identify kindergarten students throughout the year. You want to keep those tags attached to their backpacks. They'll also have smart ID badges that are scanned when they enter and exit the buses. So those two things you want to make sure your kindergartner has every morning. That red tag stays attached to the backpack, and those smart ID badges are carried with them throughout the day. Kindergarten students sit up front and close to the driver. So we want to talk to students about staying there and not moving to another seat in the back. If you have an older sibling that will be riding the bus and you want them to sit with your kindergarten student, then that older student must sit up front as well. For student safety, we don't want kindergarten students to ever sit in the back of the bus. If your child will ride the bus home in the afternoon, a kindergarten letter must be completed and submitted to the school. That letter will give instructions as to whether your child can walk home by themselves with the older sibling, or if a specific adult must be present. The letter must be completed prior to the student being allowed to ride the bus home. So again, you want to make sure that you have that kindergarten dismissal form completed and submitted. All bus drivers are instructed to transport only those kindergarten students for whom they have a copy of the form. So parents are expected to transport their kindergarten student home if they have not filled out a form with their preference for their child. If you choose to have your kindergarten student met at the bus stop by an adult, but they will not be there in time to meet the bus, the driver will continue on the route and have the dispatcher notify the school that your child cannot be delivered. Please know that the bus drivers are not generally authorized to return students to school if an adult is not present. So procedures may require the driver to contact JSO or the Department of Children and Families. So while these actions may appear to be extreme, they serve as a guideline that consistently promotes the safety and security of your babies first. Other documents that you'll need for registration are a current health exam and immunization certificate. It must be presented to the school on Florida forms. So if you're transitioning to Florida for the first time and you have records from another state, please find a healthcare provider or visit the Department of Health to have those records transferred to Florida forms. And just finally, some general information. We have a late arrival and early checkout policy. So for learning to be effective, babies need to be in school on time each day and stay the entire day. Our babies are typically not released within the final 45 minutes of the school day, so please make doctor and dental appointments accordingly. Early dismissal days are scheduled in the calendar once a month, and they are used for staff trainings and teacher planning to enhance your baby's learning. Bus transportation is provided and run the same routes, and if your child is a car rider or a walker, please plan on arriving earlier to pick up or expect them home earlier on those days. If you are in need of extended day services, please visit duvalschools.org, and on the top of the page, click on departments and scroll to the letter A for after school. Our district staff for extended day can be found on that web page, or you can contact your school directly for more information regarding before and after school care. All schools do not offer that service, so you want to contact schools directly for that information. We encourage parents to be a partner and to volunteer. Please volunteer at your child's school. We need your talents and your skills. It will require you to complete a background check. So visit the Duval Schools webpage, which is duvalschools.org again. Click on departments, Select Family and Community Engagement and scroll down to the Volunteer tab to complete the application. That's important if you want to attend field trips or you want to volunteer inside the classroom. You will need to be cleared first, so please keep this information handy because we know at some point you will want to engage and volunteer at your child's school. We need you. And finally, the first day of school is August the 12th. We look forward to seeing you and your children on that first day with smiling faces and being ready to go. And if you have questions regarding the meet and greet, which typically happens the week before school opens, please reach out to your child's school for additional information. This concludes our training. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and have a fabulous day.